Hello everyone and welcome back to the Great Book of Grudges. My name is Nathan and we're back with another Total War Warhammer video. Today we'll be discussing a mod which gives you a almost unique style of gameplay. I'm saying almost as it's very heavily inspired by Marcus Wolfheart's campaign. This is Bregonne's faction Overhaul. This overhaul aims to provide a unique experience for Bretonnia players. Being a newly founded colony, Bregonne depends on the support of other Bretonnian dukedoms. Increase your favour with different dukes to receive stronger supply units and strengthen diplomatic relations. Trading and looting also play important roles because said reinforcements cost additional upkeep. The supply units will be available in the Regiment of Renown recruitment panel for now, where you can have 5 of each unit in reserve. There is no recruitment cap though. So in brief, this mod gives you a custom legendary lord and a new faction starting location in the lands of Lustria. Now you can have a different style of gameplay as you focus around fighting different lizardmen factions, the Vampire Coast and any other horrors within the lush jungle territories. This is a harder experience than the other Bretonnian ones, because there are no other Bretonnian factions within the area. Without the support of other dukedoms, you're pretty much left alone, which might be a bit of a problem as you're fighting in very early game and don't have access to a lot of cavalry units. But with that, let's go directly into the mod and show off anything that might be of interest. For the purpose of showcasing this mod, I'll be starting a brand new campaign in easy mode and easy battles. This is simply so I can show off any mechanics and so on at a much quicker rate. Upon first beginning the mod, you'll notice that we'll find ourselves in the northern reaches of Lustria. Everything seems normal enough when looking at any settlements under your control, but you will notice that you have lost a bunch of units that are normally able to be recruitable. Because in this campaign, your main knights such as Questing Knights, Grail Knights, Knights of the Realm and so on are no longer available to you in cavalry form. Instead, they have been replaced with a new custom unit, which is literally just the Questing Knights, Grail Knights and so on, but in foot. So while playing this mod, you're not going to be having a lot of cavalry focused armies. This is very strange, especially when playing as Bretonnia itself. Recruitment is delayed more than usual. It's kind of representing the fact that you're a colony state and you're waiting for your recruits to arrive from Bretonnia itself. Taking 2 turns instead of 1, even for peasant units, can be a bit of an issue, but it makes sense mechanic-wise. Obviously, now you'll need to plan out how many armies you can have realistically at one time, and what characters deserve more units than others at this given moment. All of the main roster Bretonnian units can be found in the Regiments of Renown tab. As you are aware, every now and then you will get an event which allows you to be able to recruit these units, in an almost identical way as to how Marcus Wolfheart recruits any units of note through his Empire campaign. Technology-wise, not much has changed as you can see on screen. The obvious changes are that you've now lost the option to be able to increase your reputation with other Bretonnian dukedoms and eventually confederate with them. Instead, you're presented with a few new technologies which focus around buffing up your economy. Believe me, that is very much needed when trying to establish yourself in Lustria. Interestingly enough, there is also a technology which increases reputation with the Amazons. I played this mod for a fair amount of time, and so no Amazon faction. I'm not sure if this is something that the modder intends to add in the future or not. For this mod, we're given access to a new legendary lord, Marcel de Pavaron. Stat-wise, he seems okay. Nothing too out there, but then again, Bretonnian lords have always been fairly balanced. The only thing I see which is kinda curious is the fact that some of his special skills don't make a lot of sense. Some of them focus around your economy and your colony, which makes sense, yes, but others, for some reason, give you bonuses to charge for cavalry and bonuses against greenskins. As far as I'm aware, there is only one greenskin faction in the Mortal Empires campaign in Lustria, and that faction itself gets deleted rather quickly. Perhaps this is a slight oversight by the modder, but it's nothing really game-breaking. We're also given access to a legendary hero as from turn 1, Etienne Armand. This is a legendary paladin who more or less has the same baseline stats as all other paladins. The difference here is the paladin himself has a few special skills. These themselves buff up peasants, men-at-arms, and so on, so it actually works out quite thematically. There's also one skill which increases diplomatic relations with the Southern Realms, the Empire, Bretonnia, and so on. Once again, that makes no sense to me considering where we are, but I guess that can make a bit of sense when in relation to Marcus Wolfheart and the New World colonies. As you move on to your second turn, you will get the typical Bretonnian prompt telling you to go destroy a greenskin settlement or suffer -20 public order per turn. Don't worry about this, as far as I've seen, as I've tested this multiple times, it gets removed on the third turn. Every 10 turns, a dilemma will present itself. Your troops have found many lizardmen treasures. You can then decide to either keep it for a decent amount of gold, 5,000 to be in fact, which is fairly good especially when you're playing in higher difficulties, or send these treasures to the dukedoms in Bretonnia. Obviously before you pick you'll need to think carefully, as this dilemma only presents itself once every 10 turns. With this, a new prompt will show up, where you can select as to which dukedom will receive these treasures. Each dukedom specializes in its own troops, and the more you pick that specific dukedom, the more likely chance that you'll get higher tier units such as Knights of the Realm, Questing Knights, Grail Knights, Pegasus Knights, and so on. Please be advised that the dukedoms seem to be quite random, so you won't see the same dukedoms every 10 turns. And just a quick note, I highly advise that you write down who you've been giving the treasures to, so you will remember who was the last one you were supporting in the 10 turns prior. A lot can happen within 10 turns. After selecting the dukedom that you wish to supply, you will get access to a few units in the Regiments of Renown tab, very similar as to how Marcus Wolfheart gets his reinforcement. Early game, as stated before, they won't be impressive units, but this is the only way that you can recruit certain cavalry units, barring the confederation of other Bretonnian dukedoms. The 3 unique units presented in this mod, the Questing Knights on foot, the Knights of the Realms on foot, and the Grail Knights on foot, are fairly decent, and these are your heavy hitters throughout the campaign, which can be recruited as normal. They're nothing too spectacular, and I'm lightly brushing over each of them now, so you can pause if you wish to review the stats at a better length. But as I said, these are your heavy hitters, these are your main form of elite infantry and elite troop. Bretonnia players will have to adjust themselves to not having cavalry heavy armies, instead focusing around an army of foot soldiers, which might be a bit strange, and in truth, it will require a lot of reworking on how you work your forces. That being said, the knights are fairly decent when it comes to dealing damage. What you can see on screen right now is an army focused around these entirely new troops versus a fairly balanced but randomized army of beastmen. I did not have the most competitive force, and I was at a lack given that I had no range and so on, but instead they fought fairly hard, and I was able to cut aside the beastmen with not that much of a problem. Although a few of my units did take a heavy amount of damage, especially from the Cygors. That being said, before I played this for the review, I did have around 4-5 hours-ish on this mod, and it was fairly enjoyable. The mod itself is nothing too spectacular. It's not supposed to be a revolutionary mod, but instead provide a different type of form of gameplay for Bretonnian players. Subtle mods like these are always completely welcome. It's not like you need a complete and utter overhaul, simply just removing a few units and adding a few others can already change your game quite drastically. In all honesty, the mod is fairly enjoyable. It's a bit different and it does take some getting used to, especially without cavalry, which you would think would be very much needed, especially in the lands of Lustria, as the lizardmen themselves are fairly fast, so not being able to surround them early on is a bit of an issue. So supplement your forces with a bunch of archers, some trebuchets, and obviously some anti-large units. You're going to need them here. As always, the mod can be found in the description below. Let me know how your campaign goes if you decide to try it out. But with that, my friends, we've come to the end of our video. Thank you so much for watching. If you did enjoy the video, might I suggest giving the video a like, or even subscribing to the channel, as it really does help us out. In the description section below are various links to social media such as Facebook, Instagram and Discord, where you can get in contact with the Great Book team. Also in the description section below is an affiliate link with Element Games, where you could buy loads of hobby-based products, not just Warhammer, for 10 to 25% off. Making a purchase with our special link and our special code, both of which are in the description, supports the channel at no extra cost to you, which we think is rather cool. A big thank you to our patrons. It's amazing that people want to help a small channel like us grow and get to a higher level of content. A special thank you to Gibraltar LUSC, Ryan Bertsche, Andrew Pence and Okro for subscribing to us at our Fane level. You guys are super cool. And a big thank you to Edward Yule, VSVasan and Aaron Whitman for subscribing to us at our King level. And a big thank you to all of you for liking, sharing, commenting on these videos. Believe it or not, it really does help a channel get more growth. And in truth, we have been seeing a lot of that lately. It's amazing to see how far the channel has gone in just a short amount of time. And all of this is because of you. But with that, my friends, thank you so much for watching once again. And I shall see you all again very, very soon. Have a good day.